everybody, and welcome to the Sounder created out of the Sounder of Lady Hoggers. My name is Molly from the Copper Penny Farm, and I'm here with my friends as always. Say hello, friends.
Hello, hello. I am Laura Jensen. The Pig Nerd's probably the easiest place to find out all the things I do with the Meisha and the retail stuff and some other hats I wear. We always like to share what's going on in our lives. So if you followed me on Facebook, we had two big milestones accomplished last week. As president of the American Meisha Breeders Association, it was my 3-year anniversary on 10/20/23. So yeah, that was really cool to reflect on what the last 3 years have been. And as I check the numbers, I have registered 800 hogs. So to think about building all those pedigrees and all the progress we've made, that was really special.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really proud of that. In other news, this federal FSIS license I'm working on through Jensen Reserve. We made it through the final approval from the FSIS office out of Atlanta. So that had been holding us up for about 5 weeks. So now we've been approved for everything we want to do now and in the future. So that's a really cool hurdle. Next up is final checkoff inspection, which is next Monday at 10. So y'all send me some good vibes. And then after that, we get assigned our inspector. So as much as and as hard as I have tried for this not to go live in the middle of the holidays, it's probably going to go live in the middle of the holidays.
Bad. It's just a gift.
It'll be a gift. So I'm trying to update some things as far as like association work and get some big projects out of the way, because I think I know where I'm going to be come December. And that'll be good. It'll be a great problem to have. On a personal note, we did attempt to take 2 days off. I worked remotely both days. It's just how it goes when you are a business owner, entrepreneur, and farmer. So we'll try it again as soon as Bill can get some time. But right now, the flower business is gearing up for the holidays themselves. They're always they're always putting things out early November, and by the time Christmas is here, if you think about it, all the stuff is out and done. So that's kind of what's going on with me. A lot of big stuff, a lot of fun stuff, bringing in 2 new lines in the store this week. Hope I'm right. And how about you, Amanda?
Well, I am Amanda Buck with Buck Family Ranch, and we are doing good. In the last week or so, we have been working on, well, I guess it's been almost 2 weeks now. I've been working on some new products for our ranch offerings, and we released one. I posted it late last night thinking I posted it on Instagram and then shared it this morning to Facebook, and we are sold out. So yes, it took off.
It's so fantastic.
Yes. So we are doing natural skincare using fat from animals. So this particular product is a whipped tallow balm, and it's got 4 ingredients. So it's awesome. They're all natural. I'm using grass-fed and organic, and everything is great with that. I'm hoping in the future, for now, we're using beef fat for our tallow. In the future, I'm hoping to be able to use sheep fat from our own sheep. But in the meantime, I'm supporting a local rancher and buying beef fat from her. And we've got a few other products in the works too. So that is our win of the week. We are so excited. It's also given me a huge boost, because I feel like, when we were in North Carolina, and I've talked about this before, having our farm and the farm business kind of being more like my gig. I feel like I'm finding my way again, and it's just a really awesome feeling. And also one that's like, our circumstances of not having a farm shop or a farm office and things set up. I mean, I'm literally making these things in small batches. I'm able to do it from our camper, and it's neat. It's neat to see it happening. And my kids have been involved every step of the way. When I told him this morning that we were sold out, my son was like, no way.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
He
Amazing.
could not believe it. And I don't know. I was so excited to get to tell them this morning because they've been every morning like lathering up in tallow balm. They're like, this stuff is so awesome. It smells so good, and all this stuff. And so it's been neat to have them involved. But beyond that, personal wise, I know I've kind of been sharing bits and pieces about our house progress. We are not going to be breaking ground until spring.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a bummer, but at the same time, I think it's going to work out to be best all around. We've got some things that we need to do with planning and zoning and getting things rezoned, resurveyed, just several hoops to jump through, and then we'll be ready to break ground hopefully this spring. And the last thing, we're taking a trip home for Christmas, and super excited to get to see my family and all of our North Carolina people. So
Are you going to stop by the Copper Penny Farm?
Too. I need to see what is going to be going on, what we are doing for a vehicle. If not, Copper Penny Farm could go on a road trip.
Yes, I could come down.
Molly, we should go meet her. Yeah, because you probably can't make it to Georgia either. We should totally ambush her.
Yeah.
I'll be East Coasting it, so you should.
Yes, yes, yes.
What about you, Molly? What do you have going on?
Oh, I got so many good things going on. So, I've been doing my breed planning, and it looks like that I'm going to have, a good order for the springtime. So I get to breed more pigs and have more babies than I thought that I was going to do.
Yay.
So that's good. All the little red baby hogs. But I actually was asked to teach an ag class in the counties, in the county where I live. So
Wow.
I start that next week. I'll be going through and teaching a 1 week ag class at different schools about hogs. So I get to do that. I was on the radio last week, and it went really well. And Curtis, he handled me very well. Um, so I think he was scared to death on like what it was going to be like with me being there, because my personality is quite, big. But it went super good, and I'll actually be joining the radio team this weekend for a Halloween thing that they're doing.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, so I'll be out there in a costume handing out candy to kids with the radio people. So that went good, but it really helped with my books and stuff. He really did promote everything very well. And I have now sold over 200 more books just off of the radio. So that was good. And I am planning, I'll be doing a Christmas bazaar in Lebanon. So I will be having my artwork and stuff like that for sale. So I've been working on a lot of art pieces and Christmas cards and stuff like that. For that, just doing a little bit of everything. And then on the back end, I've also been working on some body products and stuff too. So that'll be coming out hopefully by the end of next week. Once I get my shit in gear,
Cool.
So I'm just hustling, man. I'm just a woman in the woods by herself trying to make $1, dude.
I'm glad to hear you are. That's amazing. You got some great
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I was like, the last resort might be prostitution. So,
No, Molly, no. I'm drawing the line in the sand. No.
oh God. Or, I could start an OnlyFans page, like of just me and bibbed overalls feeding hogs or something,
I could be behind that faster than
Oh Lord Jesus, no. I'm really creating, I've been working super hard on creating a very natural hog. hardy, natural wood hog that can survive and the health benefits out of that. And so that's what I've been working on for like the past year. And, it's just trying to see what I can do to use the entire hog in different ways, to promote that true nature's hog thing. So, it's coming around, but it's taking time.
Yeah. Yeah. All those things do.
Yeah. But us talking about all this actually leads into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to take it back a little, and we're going to go back to like the Sling-Shot. We're going to go back to other little bitty things. We're going to talk about, know your farmer, know your food, support the local, but what comes along with that as well, So y'all ready? Let's talk about it. Y'all ready to go?
Let's roll.
Yeah.
All right. So, if we're going to take it back to the Sling-Shot effect, when we talked about that, it was, we saw what happened during COVID, and then we saw that drop off, right? People couldn't get what they were wanting in the stores, so they sought out locals. Well, when things picked back up, they kind of forgot about us. They went back to the stores. But now we're seeing a bit of an uptick in people actually trying to source out and people actually trying to, come back to the farmer a little bit. What y'all think?
I'm living that through the retail store. To give you some background on my supply line through this entire journey, I was super local. My farm store was open 2 weekends a month. I was working with our processor, getting some other pork and beef from them that was local. And then COVID hit. Y'all all know that story where we had the massive growth. We went from one cow, whole cow, every 6 or 8 weeks to one cow per week. And we were rolling. And it was good because that was when this Mason shift happened. So we really needed that revenue to be able to afford to do that. But then there was a day that my processor called me and she said, Laura, this week's cow is going to be really lean and it's going to be more of what people see in grass fed, and your customers aren't going to like it. And I can sell it to you cheap, but we have a real problem. There are no more cows to get. So I remember when we were talking about what our episode was this week, I remember sitting out there on my golf cart with my head in my hand, realizing that all these moving parts were happening, and beef, our number one selling product, the rug had just been jerked out from under me. We had used all that was available, and y'all know it takes what, 14 to 30-ish months to grow a cow?
Yep. Yes.
So I was either facing, and this is not being overly dramatic, are we going out of business or are we going to find a way to keep going? So I reached out to a line called Braveheart Beef, which is a Black Angus beef from the Midwest that delivers here in Atlanta. And I started with them, and I had to do that with pork as well. So we went from everything is local. Let me also add, customers didn't really want grass finished beef then, they just thought they did, to nothing local, to now, as of last week, I have the option of buying a grass-fed, grass-finished pork to go with grass-fed, grass-finished hogs.
Yeah.
Which has never really existed for me on a local level before. Now I can talk about this in all these other levels, but I would like to stop for just a minute before I go on. Did y'all see any of this, Amanda and Molly, in your travels? Did you know that this is kind of what was happening in the market? What did y'all see during this?
No, at first, like when I started to sell, because I've never sold meat, right?
Until recently,
until recently. And so I'm sort of starting on the uptick of people actually trying to source out more, right?
Yeah.
And so I really don't have a comparison to what it was for me before to what it is now. But what I can tell you is, taking my marketing and taking my name and my brand and everything like that of why people might buy from me, taking that out, I am seeing more people coming out of the woodworks a little bit that are trying to source out different varieties, different new ways of doing things, but also people, a lot of farmers and stuff that I'm friends with are trying new things. They're trying to get themselves into new areas. And that's because there is an influx more of people, I feel like, that are trying to get those products.
Well, I hope so. Again, why don't y'all ask me this again in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I think a couple things are happening here. I think that we are far from alone with COVID, and a lot of people realized really fast that their food supply was incredibly unstable. And a lot of people, for the first time in their life, realize they may not be able to eat themselves or feed their family. And it has spurred on a new growth in people growing their own food, whatever it is. And it's brought a whole new level of opportunities when you look at things like social media and reels and all those sort of things of them promoting themselves. So, I get asked all the time, what about this farm? What about that new farm? And that's kind of new for me. The answer that we kept coming back with, and I hate this answer, but it is the reality, is they're not big enough for me to work with. Somebody like you, Molly, where you're at, and I know you'll grow as well. You need to sell retail because you have the highest expense. You need to sell probably halves and wholes because you don't need a freezer full of cuts. And me and my size, Terrace Majors, for example, 2 per cow. In 1 week, I've cut 80 of them. So that's that volume jump. That's hard to go from that small local retail only farm to supporting a store like me. The other side of that, like I mentioned, is people said they wanted grass-fed, grass-finished beef pre-COVID. I invested the money. They would buy it once. They realized they didn't like it, didn't like how it cooked. Maybe they cooked it wrong. Who knows? But there was never a repeat sale. So I invested thousands in these products that the consumers didn't show up to buy. Right now, as of later today, we are bringing back a grass-fed and grass-finished beef line that we can buy effectively by the cut. From Savannah, and I'm looking at adding chicken and other pork from that as well. So a lot going on there. There's a lot that we can unpack with that, but that's kind of the trend I'm seeing in the market is I can pull back in to Georgia what I really haven't ever been able to in terms of poultry and pork, beef sometimes. And what does that mean? And what does that say for what our consumers are choosing to do? I think to me, that's the most exciting thing, that these businesses couldn't be here if there weren't some of us supporting them.
Yeah. Well, like Amanda, on your new products and stuff, I mean, you're having to source out locally because you just haven't, your ranch is not built up yet.
Right. Well, and I think too, for me, being the new guy here, I want to be able to network with other farmers and ranchers because I feel like if I can use their product to create my product, then that is a partnership. Whether we put it on paper or not, I am partnering with them. And so I feel like being able to source things locally, that's been important to me because I want for our Buck Family Ranch to be able to find our place within our community. And I feel like if we can network with other farmers and ranchers, that's going to help us. And it helps them too. I mean, to be able to take a product that a select few people may be interested in buying and be able to make something with it that a lot of people are interested in buying, I think that that's a great opportunity. And I also think that, for consumers, it's showing it's creating that using the whole animal, what do you call that, Laura? The added value. It's added value.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's neat. I also, just like you were saying, I think that none of this is possible without consumers. And I also think that consumers, if they are researching things or looking at things from, a less trusting point of view, they're realizing that there is some instability with our food supply currently. And even though you can still go to the store and get things, inflation is high and there's a lot of uncertainty looming. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. I saw yesterday that Elon Musk now come out and said that there's probability of World War III. And I feel like if Elon Musk says it, not that I love the guy, but he's putting it out there. So it's kind of like, I don't know. You just don't know. You don't know what's coming. And I feel like because consumers may have a little bit more concern, or the shakiness in food supply could be a little more on their radar, they are wanting to seek out local people. And I feel like it truly is an opportunity for farmers and ranchers to kind of step up to the plate. And as we're going to a holiday season when times can be a little busier, I think it's the perfect time to really dive in and start marketing your products and really, if you can, dive into the added value things, because those are things that may also help you get through the lull of January and February. If you have added value products that people can still use and buy, that may not be buying a half or a whole, it's affordable for them to buy, and it can help get you through a lull, after the holidays. So that was a very long-winded response to.
These are some kind of big things, big topics to discuss.
Yeah, but I think we are at a constant change now. If you look at it, there's been so many constants that are happening. We get through COVID, then there was the uprise of COVID, and then there was the downfall, and then there was the uprise, and now there's a lot of things going in the world, the possibility of another war. I mean, there's so many things that are changing, but also along with that, our food supply, we now have lab grown meats. We now have bioengineered. Our food labels are changing so much. I think that people are becoming more aware, of the impact of what could happen and what do we need to do to prepare ourselves.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's a trend, and I think it was important to every one of us, the three of us, to talk about that today, because we've exposed a lot of negatives in the food supply. But I think everybody needs to hear, from farmers to the consumers that are our listeners. We're making a difference. Things are starting to turn.
And you know what is pushing the change, right?
Multiple things, but tell me what you got.
The Sounder podcast, man.
Oh.
Duh.
That's right. The Lady Hoggers.
The Lady Hoggers.
Yes.
No.
Well,
go ahead.
I just really quick, I wanted to also just say, a couple weeks ago we were doing an episode and we had somebody message us and just point out that we had made a statement, something along the lines of, as you're in it and you're small, you can sometimes feel like you're not making a difference, like you're not making an impact. But I think that, it may feel that way at times, but I think that we are all living proof that we are making an impact. And even though we may or may not be the driving force, we can tell ourselves we're the driving force. But I think that it's becoming more and more obvious that there are so many people that want to support a local farm. They want to support local businesses. They want to support this or that. They want to have more choice in what they're putting in their bodies, what they're putting on their bodies.
Yeah.
People want that. And it's just, we just got to get it out there.
And that's what we're seeing in the grass-fed and grass-finished market. I have been incredibly hesitant to go back to it. I mean, it didn't go so well for me.
Yeah.
But when I ask my crew at the store, what's the number one product that you're asked for that we don't have, that's not converting? At the end of the day, it's a business. We've got to convert. And it's grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Email that in the conversation is when we don't have grass-fed, grass-finished beef. So I have to take that as an entrepreneur, that there is a shift that is happening.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I do not like grass-fed beef, man.
I can tolerate it, but I really want me that grain-fed Midwest Black Angus that we'll still keep carrying some of that. That's kind of the interesting part about where we are. And I was actually meeting with my crew about it this morning. So we have these options, but the reality is, you know, it's common for us to have an order for 20 of these fillets, probably every other week. So there's a demand for it, and it is a great clean beef. So it's like I've got two very different customers kind of wanting the same thing, but so we're gonna offer both. We're gonna have multiple lines of beef and pork.
Well, I think you have to do that. You know, you know, like when you have a retail, when you're opening up a store, right? If you only have one specific thing going on, you're cutting out another half of your customer base. You know,
potentially, but to me, there's a part there too that depends on where you're at in growth. And I think Molly, actually, both of y'all are a fantastic example of this. Y'all both have amazing products that you have put your signature on and are clean and amazing things. But for y'all to add 3 more right now, probably financially is not your best decision. So there is a balancing act, in my opinion, of growth and doing that.
Oh no, there is. And you know, we've talked about this before. You know, it is being secure and promoting what you are able to promote and what you're able to produce. What happens a lot in this life that we try to do is people go into a farm way too strong. They're getting everything that they can get. They're trying everything that they can try because they're trying to find their way, you know. And that's what makes a lot of people struggle, is because you go into it with 9,000 ideas, right?
Yeah, I'm that person. That was me.
Yes. Too. But at the same time, you know, I did that. And at the same time, though, had I not done that, I don't know that I would have really found out what I truly liked and what truly worked for me.
I love hearing that. When we opened the retail store and that shop, I remember being like a kid in a candy store, because they're really, on the retail side, there was nothing I couldn't produce and sell retail. And how freaking exciting is that all these, you know, food products and things I could produce. And so we went through a lot of versions. You know, we made cookies and cinnamon rolls when we first started. And my husband and I have considered that the 5-year business course, to understand who we are, what we are in our own unique area, and to learn the lessons of sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship through the store.
Yeah. Well, you know, like Amanda, I mean, when they were in North Carolina, they had cattle, they had chickens, they got pigs. She wasn't making body products though. And see, now it's an adaptation, and you have to, anytime you're starting something, you have to come up with ideas like cinnamon rolls and cookies and whatever. You know, you got to come up with these ideas to promote yourself so that you can get some money to get to what it is actually your business is meant to do.
Yeah, again, that's exactly what we did, because the Maison, you know, there was a couple dozen of them out there on the planet, you know, at least in the US. And everything we did was to build the store and build a cash flow to support the store and the people that work there, so that I could do other things. That's exactly what we did. That's how we ended up with kraut and spices and all these other products.
Yeah. I think that's definitely what we are doing. I mean, the other thing too is what I did when I was kind of like brainstorming on what we could do with where we are right now. I thought of some problems that we have and tried to come up with solutions.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And for us, you know, we're heading into winter. The air here is super, super dry. I wanted a product that I could put on both my skin and my lips that would keep my skin and lips hydrated and soft, that wouldn't be full of harsh chemicals or, you know, artificial fragrances and things like that. And so for me to come up with, you know, let's try to do this and do it as naturally as possible using a product that not everybody would typically be buying or even saving off of their animal. it just kind of made sense for us. And I think it's a great stepping stone because just like you said, sometimes you do have to get a little bit scrappy and, figure out what you can produce that will be a stepping stone to help launch you to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
Well, I do think though that with all that is going on in the world, we have went through a lot of things in the food system too. We've went through the organic, we went through the no soy, the non-GMO. We went through all of these things, right?
Yeah.
But I think that now that those things are out there, people have started investigating these things. I think Suzanne Andrew posted something the other day that was, or maybe yesterday or the day before, that was really spot on. That, the labeling of stuff is so tricky because, I'll have to go back and look, but she's talking about non GMO. Well, or cholesterol and things. She's like, well, there's no cholesterol in that anyways, but it says cholesterol free,
Right.
So I think that now these products have been out, people are seeing it, and now they're seeing the downside of it. And I feel like that's sort of kicking in the upkick of people actually trying to find the honest farmer, honest product as well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Absolutely.
I think that when you do have labeling and it says it's antibiotic free, well, all animals at time of slaughter have to be antibiotic free.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
So
I just a little bit different perspective on that. I absolutely understand the point about saying that what bananas are gluten free or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you look at ag education in our country and the average consumer, and also this fast paced life that we all end up stuck in, y'all, I've been that person that was like, oh no way, that's gluten free, cool, I'll get it, and I should have known, but I didn't. So I think I mean that's just a double-sided thing for me. I don't really want to get down on it. Some of it is a dub, but there's a lot of people that just don't know, or that's not their focus. They've got their own life problems.
right. And I'm definitely not bashing the consumer. I feel like I'm coming at it more from the direction of the companies putting that on their labeling. And I do understand that it can help market it and help people understand, well, this doesn't have gluten in it, or this doesn't have this or that or whatever. But I think a lot of times companies use labeling like that to charge more for their product.
Yes.
Instead of with the intention to educate. And that's where I have a problem with it. I don't fault consumers for buying it. I do fault companies for not better educating consumers.
Yeah. And that's what I love about what we're doing is, we didn't know all this either.
No,
right?
no, all of us have changed. Right, Amanda, I feel like you're probably the most informed on all these things we do. Have you even changed some things?
I feel like it's been very eye-opening, and I have really enjoyed just being able to have open discussions with people on it, because I feel like normally Ellen just gets to hear me like, wow.
Same.
Yeah.
He's got to just be like, Amanda,
Mhm.
shut up,
Yeah.
But I think it's been really neat just to be able to learn more about things that have been things that I didn't know and didn't realize. And so I think it's been really fun just to be able to talk about things and talk to my friends and just kind of, I don't know. It's nice too to be able to have conversations like that and not feel like you have to wear a pair of boxing gloves as you're talking about things.
Yeah.
Well, this episode also can go back to so many episodes, right? Because in one of the episodes, we talked about how there are so many people like us out there. We just didn't know that they were out there, and now maybe what we see as an uptick in people searching it out, maybe it's really not an uptick. It's just that we've actually found the people that are like us, you know what I mean? And that are researching their food.
I thought about that too when I've come across these local options that I didn't have before.
Yes.
Did I not have them? Did I not know how to find them? How long,
Yes.
one of them is new. One of them, I mean, they had to be there for a minute to be where they are. So, yeah, which one is it? And at the end of the day, I don't think it matters,
No, I don't think it matters, but I do think that it is a beautiful thing that, it is coming to the light a little more brighter than what it was. We saw the bright light, people searching us out when COVID hit, and then it dwindled. But now, although there is a possibility of a war, all these things going on, COVID really isn't the big thing anymore, but we see the light coming back.
Yeah. When I was looking at our beef market and our options and trying to get back local, because that's been my goal for months now. And we've talked about it here too. We run a 6-figure number on beef. And when I was able to network with a local restaurant, a friend I made there, to find who we're using, I made that man's day to call them and tell them what our volume is. And we are both our farms are so excited about the potential that we have. It's I think we're both a little white knuckle, like, is it really here? Are the people going to show up? But this local thing is really cool. There's a lot of us passionate about it.
Well, and that goes back to another thing. It's one of the problems that I've always seen with small farming, mid-scale farming, is that people are so selfish in what they do, how they do it. They don't want to work. There's no communication. There's no cooperation, but when farms can come together, I specialize in pork, you specialize in beef. Let's try to intermix that. I specialize in whatever and you specialize in produce. Like, whenever you can come around and you can connect with those people and you can build your community even further, is what is a beautiful thing. And I'm seeing a lot of that now. People are actually starting to work together and help each other. Like Amanda's buying beef tallow off of somebody near her. You're getting your beef over there. I mean, it is a beautiful thing that I see is now kind of trying to build up.
Yeah, absolutely. Food hubs are, another word for that. And I know that in my area here in Georgia, a group was just awarded a significant grant, multi-million-dollar grant, to help build that within minority communities. And I couldn't be happier. That is freaking amazing that we can change people's lives through ag in such a positive way.
Yeah, I think it is beautiful. Like, when I got asked to teach, the ag class or whatever, well, to me, that's a big thing for me, because in the area, and I have been told by the big people that what I'm doing is not a benefit to this community, which really puts a damper on hogs in general, So for me to now be asked to come teach a class about hogs, I'm like, I think that's fantastic, because it does show that, I am a benefit to this community, but also I'm raising what people see as a nasty, disgusting animal or a non-beneficial animal, although they love to eat fucking sausage and bacon and ham and tenderloin.
Right? Yeah.
To me, that's a win, because it is bringing the hog to a whole new level. It's raising it up some. But it shows that people are actually interested.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a challenge on both sides of this equation. The farmers, especially the new farmers, to find their market, and for that consumer to find that farmer. So I think that will improve in time too. I think that's some of that social media thing that will make things better for people. I mean, again, I think it's happening.
Yeah, I do too. And, like the other day, I put it out there about the wheat thins, and although that's not a new thing, right?
Right.
It's not a new thing. To me, it was new because I've just started reading my labels on my food, I mean, I smoke cigarettes, drink grape soda, and eat hot Cheetos. So, like, I've now been trying to research, and but I got a lot of good feedback off of that, because people honestly didn't know, like me.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting after you posted that, because Kellen, my husband, he was watching something, and he was like, you got to look at this. And it was the same chemical, the BHT, BHA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could remember now what it was, but I was like, that's funny that it's, you posted that, and then he's showing me this video. And so it's just like,
Oh, well, I got a message. I'm friends with a guy down in North Carolina, and he sent me a message because I think I post that on Sunday or something like that, or Saturday, I think. Doesn't matter. Anyways, he went to church, right? And he was at church, and after church, they had this platter of food out, and they had wheat thins everywhere. And he's like, I couldn't pick up not one of them wheat thins. He was like, I was so disappointed. He's like, but people were just eating them all up, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, though, talking about how there is change coming, and I'm glad that Amanda did bring up that somebody had said, they do think that small farms are beneficial. When Amanda told me that somebody had said, well, I think because I'm the one that said it, they said that Molly said something about small farms are not. What did they say, Amanda?
It was something to the effect of, it was in one of our episodes. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but we were just talking about how, as a small farmer, you can feel like because you're small and you're not bigger, that you're not making an impact. What you're doing
Yes,
matter, and but it does. And
it does.
but there are times that we do feel that way. I
Yeah,
think we've all experienced times when we felt that way, because you just feel like you're not gaining traction. You're not going the direction you want to go, or you're getting doors slammed in your face, or whatever it may be. You just feel like, God.
yeah. Well, and maybe I didn't say it right, or whatever. But how I truly feel about it is I know that us as small farmers or mid scale or whatever, I do know that we're making an impact, right? People wouldn't be selling products if we weren't making an impact on those things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it takes what I've been trying to preach. It takes a community of the small ones to get it out there. We can't do it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I do think that it is neat, just like you pointed out, that there are more and more farms who are willing to partner, because it is exhausting to do it all on your own. And
Yeah.
so
Yes.
being able to have other farms and ranches and homesteaders that you can partner with to be able to provide, whether it's providing for your own family or providing for your community, being able to partner is so beneficial. And I think that the more we can link arms, the more I think the more we really will begin to see and feel and experience that impact. And
Yeah.
the consumers are there, so don't put yourself over the edge to where you're doing too much soon, just like Laura pointed out. But the consumers are there, so find, you know one step in front of the other. I feel like the words I'm trying to say are not coming out, but just find your path and just put one step in front of the other. And if you can find other farms to partner with, before you know it, you will have a community. You will be experiencing growth, because the consumers are there. They are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing the consumers are there.
We are.
Well, these are all reasons why I'm always preaching about have a marketing program, have a means of capturing the customer. Don't rely on social media to be your own means of communicating with your people. These are the things that are harder for us as farmers. And I mean, I didn't want to learn them, quite honestly. I just wanted to grow stuff and make stuff. I got this cool kitchen down there. But it wasn't going to work if I didn't find a means to do that, to connect and stay connected. So that's just as big of a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it is. When I first started, I was very heavy on keeping my stuff super closed, my genetics closed. I would try to produce as much as I could to provide without seeking out other people that may have been closer to the person, because I wanted to make the sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you have to be that way in the beginning because you have to make a market for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But once you reach the stability, like I reached a point where I was selling all that I had, and I'm okay with that. And so now I sell more hogs for other people than I sell for myself.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I look at it as who can help them best in terms of the Maison. And if it's not me, I'll connect them with who can.
Yes. And that's just the growth. And I think that we are experiencing the true growth of agriculture, the true growth of communication and community, and the true growth of people actually seeing what products raised on farms compared to on the shelves truly is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you to both you ladies for this little thing that we've built here, and to our listeners too, because I think that everybody needs to know, no different than you're a small farm that is making a difference. Everybody listening, you're making a difference in your choices, and
Yeah.
I think we're all grateful for that.
Yeah, yeah. So before we end this, right? Before we end this, I have to brag on us a little bit.
Okay.
We talked about this, before we got on. It's to me, it's fucking fantastic, dude.
Yep.
So we started this journey not knowing what in the fuck we were doing, right?
Oh, you, Molly, that's what we were doing. This crazy
Yes.
girl from the hills that called. Here we go.
Yeah, this fucking copperhead in the holler, So, starting this journey off, all I did was I had an idea and I was like, who can I ask to do it? I really didn't know Laura. All I knew was Laura had some hogs and we talked a little bit. I was like, she seems smarter than I am, so I might need to be her friend. And and I met Amanda, and Amanda is truly, Laura, you're dear to my heart, but Amanda's dear to my heart as well,
Yes.
And I met Amanda, and I love her and her family. And so we went from a random idea that I had talking about strictly hogs.
Yep.
Right?
Mainly because we were tired of the market. We were tired of it being such a male-dominated field that women were talked down to.
Yes.
We wanted to change that. That was ultimately our goal.
Yeah. So I created the lady, the Sounder of Lady Hoggers. We were going for the women. We were trying to be women strong, right?
Yep.
Now we have took a turn. We're growing. We're evolving. We're talking about food supply. We're talking about marketing. We're talking about all these things, agriculture in general, not just hogs. And and we're having an uptick. There's an uptick. So, in 30 days, in 1 month, we have been searched, added to a library or a home screen 7,000 times.
That just blows my mind. When you told me that, I was just like, no way.
Right? Wow.
7,000 times. So somebody searched us 7,000 times. Now, it could be my mom. Kim could be searched.
It's definitely not mine. So
it's not mine either.
It could be all Kim, but 7,000. And what we started out to support women, really, I sort of laughed the other day. We have 10% more male listeners than we do women.
That's phenomenal. Wow.
I think that's really cool too, because I feel like we still are a voice for women, but obviously with the number of men who we have listened to our show, they're in support of that.
Well, and we resonate across the demographics. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Hey man, thank you for listening, guys. We're grateful.
Yes.
You remember when the question came up on the Facebook, the private Facebook group, the Sounder of Lady Hoggers, are we letting men in?
Yes.
I don't think we're letting men in. And we were like, well, I mean, our husbands support us, so why not let supportive men in? And from that, I think this community has developed.
Yes, I mean, it has grown. And so we are 10% higher in male listeners. We have over 7K in 30 days of searches, ads, and listens. And, we are now in 8 countries.
8 countries. We're international, y'all.
We are. You know, and you know, I hate to brag about things, but this is, you know, starting a podcast, you're speaking into the abyss, man. Right.
Right. Thank God we can talk to each other, because I don't think I could do that alone because of that. Yeah.
Yes. Like you're talking into the abyss. It is like it's a whole different ball game. And you know, it is not a hard, or it's not an easy thing to do, an easy thing to accomplish. But we have been in this less than a year. And you know, we're not getting 100,000 listens to an episode or nothing like that. But at the same point in time, I feel like we're really achieving things that I never imagined, and it really, really brings joy to my heart.
Mine too. I think we've built a community, and through all my journey in the store and questioning myself, how in the hell did I end up in the middle of a retail store in Loganville, Georgia, in my backyard? The answer that came through COVID, that comes through everything, and the reason why everything keeps working out, is it's all about community. It's all about taking care of my community, building my community, taking care of his people, our people, whatever it is, it's community. And I'm just so thrilled that, shockingly to me, this has become an extension of my community.
Yeah. I mean, we have met so many people.
Yeah.
And obviously connected with so many people that we don't even know that we connected with.
Yeah. It's really
fantastic. Cool. Amanda's face, she just looks so happy and glowing.
I am so happy. I am so happy because I feel like, you know, I think that when we started this, we didn't know for sure what direction it was going to go. We started off kind of rambling, and we, you know, we knew that we wanted to talk about hogs. And for myself, coming in as somebody who didn't have nearly the amount of experience with hogs, I was really intimidated by that. But I was excited to learn and kind of be a voice for those starting out with hogs. And so I think that it's been so neat to witness just how we have kind of shifted and evolved and kind of come into our own. And I think it's neat to be able to talk about the things that we're talking about, because they're big things. And for myself personally, I think it's been really neat because I am the type that typically will just kind of sit back and listen to others talk. That I think is why for many years I had success as a hairdresser, because my clients would get in my chair and tell me so many things, and I would just be like, oh, cool, you know? And I think it's neat to be able to now be expressing opinions and realizing how many of us there are out there. And I think it's also giving a voice to those who might be like myself, where it's like we kind of sit back and just kind of intake the opinions of others while having our own, but being too nervous or scared to put it out there because we don't want judgment. And so it's really been a neat thing, and I'm so thankful to have been a part of this. And I can't wait to see where this goes. I know I keep talking about Kellen, but there's times that he's always been supportive of whatever I'm like, I'm gonna do this. He's always like, okay, go out there, do it. And I think there's been some times where he's scratching his head saying, where is this going to go? What are you doing with this? And it's like, I don't know, but we're going to write it out and see what comes of it. And I think that it's moving and shaking, and we're growing, and that's exciting. It's neat to witness and be a part of.
Yeah, I know, because when I started the podcast, obviously people were not shocked because they know I love to talk, right? So it was like not a shock to people, but you know, other people that are just meeting me, and I'm like, yeah, I have a podcast. They're like, you have a podcast? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and they're like, what do you do with that? And I'm like, I just talk, but it's doing good, man, you know? And I think that is when, you know, things are truly blessings, right? It's the things that come into your life that you never imagined, you never thought of. And to me, that's what a blessing is. That it come into your life, and then it starts to flourish, and you're like, yeah, this is what I was supposed to be doing. What this podcast becomes, we will, you know, we don't know, but we never saw us here either.
Yep.
So I think, so I think it's beautiful, but I just had to put it out there. I cannot believe our numbers. I think it is fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that people listen to us and people are, spreading the word about it. I think it's fantastic. And I just wanted to thank everybody and, show myself off a little bit. Flaunt it if you got it,
That's right. We should be proud, but we've showed up, and I find that's a lot of it. Keep showing up, keep fighting the good fight, keep making the best decision you can. And things will come from that if you're on the right track. And I think this is one of those.
Yep. I'll put it out there. We're coming for you, Joe Rogan. We're coming for you.
That's right, Joe Rogan.
Let's hashtag that.
Joe Rogan should really have us on because he is into agriculture too. He's on
okay. Well, I think we need to come up with a plan and start spamming him with our stuff. Tell him to come listen, especially this episode.
Anybody that listens today, start spamming Joe Rogan.
That's
Hashtag
right.
Joe Rogan find the sounder.
That's right. That's right. I love that. Absolutely. And of course, keep sharing and liking and subscribing to
yes. All right. So now that we've talked a little bit and we bragged about us a little bit and we've called Joe Rogan out, he better fucking contact us. How about y'all go feed them hogs?
All right. I got to go cut some cows. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye. Love y'all. See ya.
Love you. See ya.